Kelvin, we'll stick with the NBA and the Lakers and the whole situation. I was curious about the LeBron injury. Of course, every time he loses in the playoffs, they reveal like the next day, something was wrong with LeBron, He was hurt. Something was wrong with LeBron. Really? Oh, thanks. You could have kept that to yourself. Hold that to yourself, okay? Let him recover in Cancun. We don't care. All right. But I'm dead serious here. I have not been a JJ Redick fan. I don't think he's a good coach.
What? You don't say.
I think the Lakers made a huge mistake in hiring an unproven commodity with a player like LeBron who's 40 at the end of his career where the coach is learning on the job. Never was a head coach in college or high school. It doesn't make sense. And we saw the mistakes. Will you agree in the first playoff round? Some major mistakes. And here's my thinking. And you know this because you saw it in Detroit. You had a young coach in Rick Carlisle who got the Pistons to 50 wins. Do you remember that? Second round of the playoffs.
Yeah, I do.
And he was a promising coach. I actually covered Rick Carlisle when he was a player with the New Jersey Nets. I know Rick from way back when. So he was a coach, and he did a good job, and they still made a change, and that was because Larry Brown became available. And Larry Brown hadn't won a championship to that point, Kelvin, right? But he had always turned around programs, and they looked at it. Joe Dumars was running the Pistons, who's now with the Pelicans, and looked at it and said, I have a chance to upgrade my coaching right here and right now, and I'm going to move off of Rick Carlisle, and I'm going to hire Larry Brown. What happened to Larry Brown in his first year with the Pistons?
Championship.
They won a championship. What about the second year? Went back
to the finals. Game 7. Almost had a shot of winning it.
My point is that there is a coach out there available that the Lakers, if you're serious about winning and you're saying to yourself, what can we do to be better? We need Luka to be in better shape. We need some big guys to protect the rim. We need some better bench players. And we need a new coach with experience. And I'm telling you right here, right now, if I'm Jeannie Buss or whatever, and I'm counting the money at the bank or, getting my hair done or whatever she's doing, I would hire Mike Malone as in yesterday, who was a really good coach at Denver, the winningest coach at Denver, and who won a championship just 2 years ago. He's 2 years removed from winning an NBA title. He's available. If I'm the Lakers, I'm interested. Anytime I can upgrade any position, I'm doing it. JJ, thank you. It was cool the first year. You know what? You might have a career coaching with somebody else or in another situation, but right here, right now, we need somebody who's already developed. We don't need donuts or biscuits that's doughy in the middle because they're not fully cooked. That's what JJ Redick is. He's not fully cooked. When you cut the biscuit, it's doughy in the middle.
You're not eating biscuits right now, Rob. Stop talking about biscuits. Before they mess around and give you a biscuit on your steak.
You already know, right? God knows I haven't had a biscuit in 3 months.
Oh, man. Well, all right. So a couple of things. I think JJ was thrust in a crazy situation, meaning he's coming from doing TV, which it wasn't as if he was doing TV for 10 years. We all got accustomed to it. He was doing TV for like a year and a half. He's doing a podcast with a guy he would eventually coach, which made it weird. And he's coaching, I don't know, maybe the marquee franchise in the NBA with the Lakers, with the star player LeBron. So he walked into a situation that was already going to be, all eyes on you, growing pains. You don't get a lot of them because you're having them in the public eye. I do not think they need to get rid of him. I'm slightly indifferent. I'm not I'm not running around with JJ pom-poms on, but when I look at what he was able to do, 50-32 on a team that hadn't won 50 wins since the 2019-2020 season, the year in which they won the championship. There was a period before Luka where they had won 20 out of 28 games, and they were second defensive rating after New Year's Eve. This is a month before Luka.
On that. Did you see the playoffs?
So what I'm saying is, I did, and he got outcoached, and he had to learn, and he got outcoached by a team that had been hungry from the season before, feeling like they should have been in the finals instead of the Dallas Mavericks. I do not think Rob Pelinka did him any good services as well, and who he had him being the grocery shopper, the groceries he gave JJ Redick. So I'm not going to act like JJ Popovich or JJ Jackson is in Phil Jackson. But I want to see more. I want to give him more of an opportunity. I want to see what he looks like with a full offseason with Luka and LeBron and Austin Reeves as their core. Obviously, anything can happen over the summer if they make trades. But as of now, constructed, that's their core. I would love to see a full program with him and his assistants figuring out, okay, now that we know what works, what doesn't, how do we go into this next season? I'd love to be fair and give him that moving forward and see what they can do. But I think Rob Pelinka has to go ahead and be better and make some moves to make this a less flawed roster going up against a Western Conference that has deep teams. They may have a very good two and stars in Luke and LeBron, but they have no real depth in comparison to the teams that they'll be chasing. And a lot of these teams are young. You're talking OKC. They ain't going nowhere. You're talking the bulk of that Timberwolves team. They ain't going anywhere. And some more teams are on the rise in the West as well that are young that aren't going anywhere. So that they're going to, like the Rockets, for example, just to name another team. So I don't mind JJ being there for another year. 50 and 32. I'm not going to get rid of that guy who had a team playing at a better clip than they had been even before Luka came. I just think, again, he had to get those bumps. He had to get those bruises. He had to learn what and what not to do in the postseason, because that's when you really got to go through that fire. And hopefully it makes you better from it. But he's wound tight. My concern is a little Urban Meyer-ish, no lap dance or no lap sitting, but of the just like having heart issues and thinking too much. And I'm not wishing this on him, but I'm serious when I say can't sleep. And you hear him already. I can't sleep last night. I couldn't do this. I woke up at 2 a.m. Like, dude, it's a long season, and you got to deal with a lot that comes with it. Ups and downs of the season, players getting into it, the media getting on your nerves, assistant coaches might not see how that. He's got to find that zen. He better call Phil Jackson, call Steve Kerr, because he's not going to make it multiple years, 4, 5, 6, 10 years, if he's going to be this wild, tightly, and high strung. So he definitely needs to be able to find a little bit of that, bring it down a little bit.
Here's why I disagree with you. I don't care what he did during the regular season. When it came time to, this team isn't about the regular season, it's about the postseason. And when you have Luka and LeBron, you expect some results. And the last thing you thought was that you would be swept out so easily. And I know it was 5 games, but knocked out of the playoffs so easily in the first round. So to me, that was a failure. And what was glaring was his coaching mistakes. That's what I'm talking about. If they just got beat and he did the right moves, Kelvin, then your argument would be better for me. He was out-coached. He was taken to the woodshed. He was made to be a piñata as far as coaching. He was bad. That smell, that's JJ Redick. It really is.
But Rob, here's where I agree, and I think he would, sit up here and say he made some mistakes. There were some mistakes that were obvious throughout the series. But he also had his team outplay them for probably 2/3 of the series.
No, but it ain't about outplaying anybody.
No, right. But what
winning.
I'm saying is he wasn't out-coached as if he just had no shot. It was never in this, and it was just an embarrassment. He literally had him outplay him in most of these games. To credit the Timberwolves, that they showed, again, the stat, the fourth quarter was huge, and that's a coaching. That's where you learn.
Winning time. That's 100%. Winning time.
And that's where he had to go through that and learn. You have to go through it. You're going up against a coach who's been through this, who went through last year, who again thought he should be in the finals last year, who have a dog and Ant Edwards and a bunch of guys who were hungry. And JJ has to go through this and learn. I shouldn't have done this. Maybe I need to start Luka. You know my theory. Start Luka on the elbow more. He doesn't have to be 40 feet out from the basket, dribbling it all day. Maybe I need to have LeBron understand we're going to post you. You're literally, this is the modern day NBA. You're the 5th biggest person in the NBA. This ain't the 90s where you'd be a small forward. Maybe I should start you on the block. Whatever it is, his adjustments, he had to go through this. to find that out, find out what he does right, find out what he does wrong, find out what his team and his makeup. He's still learning Luka, who's going to be, if he's around 5-6 years, well, that's going to be his star 6 years. You got to learn him and what makes him better, what gets him going. So, again, 50-32, getting to the playoffs, third seed. I'm not going to just fire that guy. I am going to make some adjustments for personnel. I am going to hope that he finds the adjustments to make this team better and what makes them go more. And then we'll do what we do come the fall.
Yeah, I just think the coaching is a glaring part of it. And with a better coach, there could have been some adjustments. They could have won that Game 4, tied the series up with a better coach. And I just think if there is a coach out there
listen,
who
if
has
Tyronn
winning,
Lue, Rob,
who has a winning pedigree.
I'm taking Lue. If Lue want to come back, Tyronn Lue said, our bad. We should have had you come later. We blew it. We blew it. He said, I'm coming. Then so be it. You know, I'm taking them. Yes, there's a couple of guys I'll take, but I'm okay on Mike Malone for right now.
So
I think he's a really good coach.
So you like eating gooey biscuits? Is that what you're telling me with JJ Redick?
I like, if you just told me you have a new recipe for the biscuits and the biscuit is starting out all right, and at the end you might have burnt it just a little bit, but I see where you're going. I'm all right with that.
All right, 877-99 on Fox, 877-996.
You really want a bagel or a biscuit, don't you?
6369. Where are you? I'm saying the Lakers should get rid of JJ Redick like yesterday. Hire Mike Malone. He's won a championship. He's a really good coach. He's available. You don't want to waste LeBron's last year or two or whatever it might be. And he's the guy to go get. Kelvin says no. JJ did a great job. He should get a contract extension. He's happy about the full postseason.
I hope your nose is growing, Pinocchio. You're lying over there.